Hello beaders, welcome to Beachside Bead Boutique. My name is Jerry. Today we are going to be creating a boho jewelry set where the bracelet actually steals the show. I'm pairing it with some soft silver leaf earrings using the same bead mix. And the bead mix that I'm using is the Morning Frost from a curated bead box, and this was for the month of December. I mean, look at these beautiful beads, and I think it's perfect because they do have a very light, wintry, shimmery look. So it's perfect for January, February, so for the winter months. I mean, after all, it is called Morning Frost. And then also the other items that I'm using are flush cutters. I have needle nose pliers. I have bent nose pliers and round nose pliers, which of course those are the tools that I mainly use pretty much. So you're just going to be opening up some jump rings, and we are going to create some charms. Okay, also the cord that I'm going to use is this Ani cord. It's a 0.5 millimeter waxed Brazilian cord, and I'm going to use this white color here. And then also I'm going to use these leaf charms, which came from the curated bead box. And then I have their jump rings and lobster clasp and the head pins that came in the box, and along with some of the seed bead mix that came in that box. Also, you will need some chain. I just have silver chain, and that's just going to be for the closure. And oh, of course, I almost forgot a bead stopper, and I do have my trusty glue that I love, my brush on glue, and a pair of scissors and a ruler to measure the bracelet. So those are really just the basic items that you're going to need. Okay, so first we're going to start by cutting our wax cord. And if you've seen my videos before, I really don't measure. I just kind of eyeball it, and I always want a piece bigger than what I need. So I'm just going to cut a nice length of piece. Now for this piece, we are not really going to be knotting. The only thing that we're going to knot is going to be the closure. So just the jump ring on the one end and the lobster clasp on the other. I mean, we'll make a couple of knots. Other than that, it's not going to be a knotted bracelet. Okay, so I mean, there's no need to really make it extra long, because if we were knotting, then obviously you would need more cord, because knotting takes up more of the cording. Okay, so this is the size of the piece that I cut, and for your reference, I cut C12. It's about 17 inches. So you can cut your 17 inches. I'm sure you could cut it less than that. And of course, you may not need as big of a bracelet as I do, so you might not need as much cord, or you might need a bigger bracelet than I do. I mean, it's all, about the size of your wrist, or for the person that you're designing the bracelet for, and the size of their wrist. And then you want to go ahead and take your cord and just give it a little tug in between your hands. Now this cord is not stretchy, but it does have a little bit of a give. So I just kind of like to just pull it just a little bit, just to kind of stretch the fibers out. Okay, and then it is sticky because it is wax cord. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a bead stopper at one end, and then I'm just going to start stringing my beads. Now this bracelet, it is going to be random. I mean, I have no specific pattern, which is usually the way that I like to do it. I just kind of like to be random with it. And these beads are going to be mostly these silver pearls here, with a few of the crackle glass, and then also just a few of these brighter pink colors to, add a little bit of brightness, and a few of my seed bead mix. Okay, but it is just going to be a random, so whatever we feel like doing, that's what's going to happen. So I will go ahead and just cut my cord a little bit just to make it easier for the beads. So I'm going to cut it at just a little bit of a point, and that's going to make the beads string on easy, but these holes look pretty big, so I really don't think there's going to be any problem fitting these beads on this cord. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with, like I said, mainly these silver pearls. And then we'll switch it up a little bit as we go. Now this is doubled, but I'm putting them together anyway, so that's totally fine. Actually, I'm going to move my bead stopper down a little bit, and that's just to make sure that we have enough room to put on our clasp and tie a couple of knots at the end of our bracelet. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use I'll use one of these little light blue little seed beads that came in the box. And you know, when I do bracelets and such, I do like to have, like I said, random and also a different assortment of bead sizes, just to give it some interest and movement and not be matchy-matchy. Okay, and then I'm just going to continue stringing in no particular pattern. So you could do it this way, or you could string it in a pattern. I'm just giving you the inspiration. Also, you don't have to use this kind of cord. You can use regular beading wire and crimp tubes and, you know, crimp the edges, crimp your clasp on, however you want to do it. This is my preferred cord. So, yeah, so just do it however you want. Like I said, I'm just giving you the inspiration. We are going to put a couple dangles on here. So that's going to add a little bit of movement and added color and a little bit of variety to our bracelet. I really love these. I think these are so gorgeous. It looks like some icicles, some fresh fallen snow. I mean, it just has a beautiful glistening luster to it. So yeah, it's definitely a, you know, first frost bead, because that's what I think of for sure. Let's go back to the silver. Now, don't overthink it when you're beading. I mean, like I said, it's random. No specific pattern, no specific plan. Just go with the flow and have fun with it. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and switch it up a little bit. Since we have mainly the silver pearls on this side, I'm just going to switch it up and add more color to this side. I think boho looks best when it's a little imperfect anyway. I mean, that's just my opinion, and that's my take on boho. but you do it how you want to do it. That's all about having fun and doing what you like. Did you all have a nice Christmas? Christmas was yesterday. So did you all have a nice Christmas? Mine was very busy because, like I told you guys, I was moving, getting set to move. Well, we moved yesterday on Christmas Day. Yeah, we moved. Well, my husband and my neighbor downstairs mainly moved pretty much everything, all the big stuff. And I mean, I really didn't have to do anything. They pretty much did it all. But I did have my sister here and one of my sisters, and we chilled and had our little Thanksgiving dinner. I made homemade lasagna the other day and some breadsticks, and I made a nice yummy jello poke cake, if you guys have ever had that. So yeah, but it was just a nice nice Christmas. And like I said, we did get moved, so I'm in my new apartment, which is downstairs now, so no more walking up and down the steps. So I'm very happy about that. Okay, and this is how it looks. So I do like it, and it's actually just about done because we do have to put the closure on too. So it doesn't really need to be any bigger than this. And let me see what the measurement is for you. Okay, right now it's about 6.5 inches. So yeah, I think that is probably good because once we put the clasp on, we don't want it to be too big. Like I said, I have to edit since my arm shrank a little bit from losing weight. So yeah, I think that'll be pretty. I like it. Just a nice random piece. Okay, so go ahead and take your bead stopper off. I'm going to take my lobster clasp and some jump rings. Actually, we need 2 jump rings. We need to attach the lobster clasp to a jump ring, and then we need the jump ring by itself on the other side. And like I said, we are going to have some chain attached to this also, so then you could kind of adjust it. Okay. So first, let's attach our jump ring to our lobster clasp. So I'm going to take my bent nose pliers and my round nose pliers, and I'm just going to open this up, and this is how you open and close a jump ring. So really you're just moving one side down, and that's it. And then go ahead and put your jump ring on, and then we can close this up. We don't need it to be opened. And my cats are in here making some kind of ruckus too. I don't know what they're doing. But if you have cats, cats do what they want to do, and they know if you're doing something, important like this, then they're probably going to make more noise, right? Cats don't care what you do. I mean, cats, a cat, and that's their reputation. They just do what they want to do, and they don't care if they're disturbing you. I think that the more they disturb you, the better. And that's what I think their mentality is. So, oh, sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to take my my jump ring attached to my lobster clasp and attach it to one side. And I'm just going to take it down. I have my 2 fingers in between the beads and the jump ring. And then I'm going to tie a knot. So I'm going to just wrap it around my fingers and then make sure the jump ring is inside that loop. So like this. And then you can move your fingers and tie your knot. And actually I'm going to grab my knotting tweezers just because then that way the knot will land exactly where I want it. And I want it to lay right up against that last bead. I am going to go ahead and put my bead stopper back on, wherever it is. Somewhere, here it is. Okay. Just going to put my bead stopper back on this side, just so we don't lose any of the beads. So then that way we can get a nice loop here. So I'm going to take, you see how this is? The jump ring is inside the loop. I'm going to put the knotting tweezers right inside that loop, right on top of the bead, and pull my cord down. And then you could go ahead and take your tweezers and just pull it tight, just like that. And we are going to go ahead and make another one. Now take your tweezers right on top of that knot. And that's how you get your knots to land exactly where you want them. I mean, of course, you could use more than one layer of cord, but I didn't know if that was gonna, you know, if the beads were gonna fit through too. So one works just fine. And now let me find my handy dandy glue. I don't even know where it is. I moved and now I don't know where my glue is. And I swear I had it in here earlier today. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I found my glue, my brush on glue. And I'm gonna go ahead and make one more knot. That's just to make sure that this is secure. I'm gonna take my tweezers right on top of that last knot and then pull that down. And that's as easy as that. Make sure you pull your knot down with your tweezers. And now I'm just gonna take my brush on glue and brush it right on that knot. You've seen me do it plenty of times. Unless you're new here, then this is what I do, and welcome if you are new here. And if you are new, then please consider subscribing to my channel for more beading fun. I usually do random boho jewelry. I do bead unboxing videos. And, you know, it's just a lot of fun. Sometimes some other things, you know, I like to make boho beads and little charms and stuff like that. So it's just some fun and inspiration. And yeah, so if you'd like to join me, then please subscribe. Okay, so now for this side, I am going to take my jump ring and fit it on and just do the same exact thing with my cord. Oopsie. Okay, now I'm going to add just a little bit of chain to my side with just a jump ring, just to have an extension. You don't need it extra long. I mean, you cut a couple of links. Okay, and we could go ahead and open this jump ring and add the chain to that. Just attach that jump ring to this jump ring with the chain and close that up, and then you'll be good to go. Okay. So this is what we have so far. Very cute. Very cute, very random. Just the way I like it. Okay, cut your cord right close to the knot, but don't cut your knot. And I'm just going to take a little bit more of my glue right at the end there, just to seal that end shut. Or you could burn it if you want to. I love this. I think it's just totally cute, totally random, my kind of style. Just an easy, simple lobster clasp, extension chain. Very easy, but very pretty. Okay, now we're just going to go ahead and add a little charm dangle on the bracelet to add, you know, a little bit of extra, right? Okay, so I think I want to add the charms like right here. So it's not exactly in the center, which is fine with me. I like that, you know, off center kind of asymmetrical look. So yeah, I think I'm going to add my charms right here between the gray and the pink bead. So first I'm just going to take one of my leaves. And the only thing that you need for this is to put it on a jump ring. But actually I am going to use a larger jump ring to attach my charms because that'll make it dangle better on my bracelet. If you don't have a larger jump ring, then your dangle is just going to be stuck in between the beads and not really dangle. So I like to have a bigger jump ring for my charms. So yeah, so I'm going to use this size here. Whatever size it is, I don't know. It doesn't tell me. And I'm not going to measure it. So use whatever size you think is good for you. And I'm just going to open this up like that and put on my leaf. And then we'll just make a couple of little bead dangles. Okay, I think I'm going to use one of these little crackle glass crystals. And then we will use one of the bluish, light blue, silvery pastel. And then we'll use one of these brighter pinks. And I'm going to put each one on its own head pin. Now this is a head pin. And it has the flat head. An eye pin has the loop at the end. So this is a head pin. And this is what came in the curated bead box. And you've seen me do this plenty of times. And if you are new here, I am just going to show you one time. And then with the other two, I'm going to do the same exact thing. So I'm not, you know, repeating the same thing over and over. So you guys don't get tired of seeing me do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and bend this head pin back. So right where the top of the bead is, I'm going to bend this back at about a 90-degree angle. So it looks like this. And then I'm going to cut the head pin down to about 1/4 of an inch. So leaving 1/4 of an inch. You just need enough to form a loop. And we don't need the loop to be very big. Now I'm going to take my round nose pliers, flush to the edge where we just cut, and form a loop. Okay, it's a little wonky, but I'm going to go ahead and just bend this back slightly. Okay, that looks better. Okay, so I'm gonna set that to the side, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create my other two little charms with my beads, and I will be right back. Okay, beaders, so I went ahead and made 4 charms. I'm gonna put 3 with my leaf to dangle, and then I'm gonna put 1 at the end of my chain to have a little bit of a fancy little bead at the end. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a jump ring and open this up, and I'm just gonna add my little charms to the jump ring. Okay, I added 2 of my charms to one of the jump rings, the larger jump ring, and then I'm gonna add my bluish color charm to its own jump ring. And that's that way so it could just stagger a little bit and hang down just a little bit lower than the others. And then go ahead and add your leaf charm to that. And then, let's see, where do we want to hook them all? I think we'll hook it using this jump ring here that the leaf is on. So we can go ahead and close up this one. And then I want to use the bigger one, remember, so it could dangle properly. Okay, so now I'm just going to open that up, and then I'm going to take my jump ring and just attach it, if it'll go. You might even need a bigger one. I'm just going to attach it in between this pink bead and the silver bead. There we go. And then go ahead and close that up. Like that. And we have a cute little dangle, and I like how that looks. I think that looks really good. And then we'll go ahead and put one little charm at the bottom here. And I'm just going to attach that with a jump ring. So just like this. That looks really cute. I really like this little extra bit here. Very cute. Very random. Boho. Love the little charm edition. Super cute. Love these beads. Very pretty. Very wintry vibe. Really like it. Really cute. Love the little charm dangle. The little extra bit. Very pretty. All right, let's go ahead and make a quick pair of earrings. Now remember, the bracelet is going to be the star of the show, so the earrings are just going to complement our lovely bracelet. So nothing, you know, too extra and over the top. Just a nice little cute pair of earrings to go with our charm bracelet. Okay, so actually for our earrings, I am going to use 2 eye pins. So I'm using silver eye pins, and that's because they already have a loop at the bottom, and I'm going to dangle the leaf charms from the bottom. So we already have that loop created there. So just to make it a little bit easier, so I'm going to take 2 of my leaf charms. And I'm going to put 1 charm on a jump ring, and then I'm going to attach it to my loop here. Okay, so I added my little leaf charms to the bottom of each loop on my eye pins. And then I'm just going to take some of my beads, and I think I'm going to use, now these are going to be random earrings. They're not going to match, so they are going to be asymmetrical. That's the way that I like them, not totally matching. I mean, they are going to have similar beads and, so they are going to match pretty much, and they are going to match the bracelet as far as the beads and the color palette, but they're not going to be totally matchy bead for bead. Okay, so I'm going to put one of these, and I'm going to put one of these also on the bottom of this. I love these. I know I told you that. And then I'm going to add one of these. And to this one, let's add, I'm going to add one of these little bluish color seed beads to this one. And then I'm going to go back to the crystal crackle glass, wherever the hole is, just like that. And the same with this one. That. Actually, here, let's take that off and let's put this light pink one, just so then that way it's the same size. It's just a different bead. So like that. Cute, right? Just cute. Cohesive, but slightly different. And then I'm going to end with a seed bead on each one. So with this one, since this one we have the pink, I'm going to put this light blue seed bead. And then this one, sorry for the ruckus. This one I'm going to end with the light pink seed bead. So that'll give that a little bit of color. Okay guys, so this is going to be our earrings. I actually changed the order and put the seed bead in the middle. So the two smaller beads in the middle. So I did the same with this one. And that's because it's going to be harder to make a loop at the top with a small bead there. So I just changed the order, and then we're just going to go ahead and form a loop and put on our ear wire. Okay, so this is what we have. So similar, but slightly different. We're going to go ahead and add our ear wire, and then we are going to be done. So you just need to bend this up. You don't need a separate jump ring. So see, just take your pliers and just bend that wire up a little bit, just enough to fit that loop on. And then there's no, particular way that this earring needs to face, since it's all the same on both sides. And then close up that wire. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other one. Okay, guys, well, here is our finished pair of earrings. And I think they turned out really, really well. They are so pretty, and they complement the bracelet perfectly. I really like how these came together. The bracelet really becomes the statement, and the earrings just softly complement it. But really, really cohesive. Well, you guys, let me know what you think. And please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also, in the comments, let me know which is your favorite and what you would do differently with this set. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.